Thank you for that. And as more patients require hospitalization, hospitals could quickly become overrun.
WGN Shannon Halligan has the latest on the state of Illinois hospitals right now. Shannon?
And just the last 2 weeks, hospitalizations are up more than 70% in the state. Now, state and health leaders are worried hospitals could soon be on the brink of capacity.
COVID-19 cases are surging in Illinois, and so are hospitalizations.
Take into account that we have just 1,100 ICU beds open in a state of nearly 13 million people in the middle of a pandemic.
Governor J.B. Pritzker shared grim statistics Monday as coronavirus cases continue to inundate hospitals and their workers.
And our doctors, nurses, EMTs, hospital social workers, and respiratory therapists are paying the price. They're exhausted, often working overtime and double shifts.
And it's not just healthcare workers who are overworked. Ruth Colby, president and CEO of Silver Cross Hospital in New Lenox, said more than 60 staff members are sick with COVID-19 from community spread.
And it's not only the bedside healthcare workers, but that we have housekeepers and nutrition services workers, and we have building services workers, everybody who makes sure that this place operates the way that it does to serve our community.
The Advocate Aurora Health System is seeing a strain on resources, treating more than 1,100 patients throughout their 10 Illinois hospitals. More than 160 people are hospitalized at Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn, 100 at Lutheran General in Park Ridge, and dozens more at their hospitals in Lakeview, Downers Grove, and Hazel Crest. Because of that, Advocate Aurora Health will now delay half of its inpatient elective surgeries.
The next 2 to 3 months are going to be very difficult no matter what.
So as Thanksgiving approaches, state leaders are begging people to keep the celebrations virtual.
Do your plans include those who are over 60? Do your plans include those who have medical conditions that put them at higher risk? Are some of your intended guests pregnant? You have to be thinking about all of these things before you bring additional people into your home. Let's not gamble with a virus that has already stolen from us, robbed us of nearly 11 million people in just 8 months.
And the governor also pointed out that Region 7, which includes Will and Kankakee counties, only 32 ICU beds remain open for new patients in those south and southwest suburbs. And Micah.
All right, Shannon, thanks. And the number of COVID-19 cases in Illinois continues to climb as residents in the Chicago area have been urged to stay home. That stay-at-home advisories for Chicago and Cook County residents went into effect today.
For more on that, WGN's Patrick Elwood. He reports from City Hall.
Any amount of deaths that were.
Mayor Lightfoot calls this stay-at-home advisory Project Chicago. Her official suggestions include only leave home for school, work, medical care, groceries, picking up food, or going to the pharmacy. When not at home, wear a mask indoors always and outside when social distancing is not possible. No gatherings in your home, outside immediate family, and avoid travel when possible. 14% is what the city's positivity COVID testing rate stands at. And people WGN spoke to about the matter today understand the gravity of the situation.
What we're doing is really just staying home. We have 2 younger boys, and we just want to protect them and protect our family as well. And
like many other families, the concern extends to older loved ones and those who are immunocompromised as well.
We keep telling each other that it's just going to be a couple more months and hopefully it gets better.
This advisory comes as expectations grow concerning a vaccine that could come early next year. But Mayor Lightfoot cautions under CDC guidelines, healthcare workers and first responders would be eligible to get it first, and then it would be widely distributed sometime after that.
I don't expect that there will be mass-produced amount of vaccine until sometime deep into next year. So somebody like me, somebody like the alderman, and ordinary residents will not see a vaccine probably to mid next year into the second or third quarter.
That was Patrick Elwood reported, and we want to talk more about that promising news about the vaccine. A second one in the works. Moderna says initial trial data shows its vaccine is more than 94% effective. A total of 30,000 people are taking part in the trial across the country, looking at data from the trial that focused on 95 infections of coronavirus. Just 5 of the cases were in those who received the experimental vaccine. That's compared